Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the Horathon. And remember the big giveaway at 9. Don't miss it. And don't forget to wear your masks. The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
All right. It's Wednesday. I'm Bud. Welcome to the Shape of Horror podcast. We're going to talk a little bit about Halloween 3 tonight. I put together a really nice presentation for you guys tonight. I really put in the work. Quite frankly, I don't know that the movie deserved this much work, but, you know, I have to say, the movie's kind of growing on me. I didn't like it, like a lot of people, for all those years because, you know, Michael Myers wasn't in it, of course. But, I mean, it has grown on me. What can I say? Let's let some people trickle in here, and I will start talking about Halloween 3. Look at that. People are showing up already. How's everybody doing? I see Allie Girl. Happy Wednesday. Yeah, I'll probably get a copyright strike for playing the jingle, and showing the video. But, you know, I'm not monetized yet, so. Nick Push. Yeah, this is like 12 streams already. Yeah, this is I did one Sunday, did 2 yesterday, and here I am for the 4th time. But are you a fan of the Dixie Chicks? Not as big a fan as you are, Jake, apparently. So, Allie, you enjoy the movie. Has it grown on you, or did you hate it when you were younger and it has since grown on you? All right, that's good enough to start. So, Halloween 3 came out, what? 82 or 83, I can't remember which year. All I know is, you know, Halloween 1978 was a raging success. Irwin Yablans wanted John Carpenter to come back and make a sequel. And of course, John Carpenter, you know, we know how he is. He didn't want to do that. 82, thanks, Jake. We know how John Carpenter is. So he haggled a little bit, made a deal, said, hey, I'll come back and produce Halloween 2 if you let me make another movie at Universal. So they made Halloween 2. It was a success. And so he had to come do. They let him decide to keep the Halloween 3 name, but he decided he didn't want to have Michael Myers in it. They wanted to do this movie, which is an ode to the invasion of the body snatchers. But the problem was that people, when they see Halloween, they've associated it with the shape, with Michael Myers. So the movie was pretty much dead in the water when it came out. It was Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. And I remember seeing the commercials, thinking, oh, you know, there's another Halloween. I was about, what, 6 or 7 years old. And I remember they double billed it with Halloween 2 because they had to try to get people to the theater. So, you know, they had all these cool materials, like Jake said here. The poster is cool, really cool. I didn't get all of it on here. I want to thank Gary Hunt from the Halloweenverse. He helped me out with some of my presentation. He has all the screenshots, and there were some that I couldn't find, so I want to give him a shout out for helping me put this together. But let's move on to the next slide here. So a lot of you are mentioning the score. The opening credits, too. Very cool, very creepy. I would say the Halloween 3 score is probably better than anything John Carpenter did for the David Gordon Green trilogy. I'm just going to go on record and say that. I believe it. But we get these cool graphics a little bit different. As you guys know, Halloween Ends copied this, the font and everything. Well, we go through the movie is starring Tom Atkins. He's playing Dan Chalice. Dan O'Harely, great villain, plays Connell Cochran. Let me scroll through this here, just so I can get all the names. I want to get it right. I will put the names to the faces a little bit later. Not too. The cast on this one isn't too big. You have Dan Chalice, Linda Chalice, played by Halloween veteran at this point, Nancy Keys, Nancy Loomis, whatever she called herself at the time. Stacey Nelkin plays Ellie Grimbridge, kind of Chalice's sidekick. We'll talk a little bit more about them after a bit. But we get through these cool, snappy credits and this creepy score, and we come in to this guy running down the highway. We're in Northern California. A little bit different kind of an opening. On Halloween, we remember that nice long tracking shot where Michael is stalking Judith and her boyfriend. But here we start out with a guy just fucking looks like he's running for his life, and you can see he has the mask tucked in his waist. This is turns out to be Mr. Grimbridge. I can't remember his first name, but it turns out that he is Ellie Grimbridge's father, and he's running, and there's a car chasing after him with these guys in very nice suits. One of whom happens to be Dick Warlock. You guys might remember him from Halloween 2. You guys out there, you remember what he did? Yeah, that's right. He was Michael Myers. He played the Shape in Halloween 2. But let me pause this and get to some of the chat here. I want to keep everybody enthralled here. Yeah, I saw that. Allie says, I keep forgetting you were older than me, but I'm not much older than you. You were only fascinated when it came out, but you remember your cousin always fascinated you. Yeah, it is kind of fascinating. It's a lot different. How do I think Rob Zombie would do at Season of the Witch? Well, I don't even want to think about it, to be honest with you. That's Adam Howard. Welcome to the chat. I don't know. I mean, Dan Chalice is trashy enough as it is. I don't think we need Rob Zombie. Allie says the cover always fascinated her. We'll get to that later, Jake. Zombie would have had an android rape scene. Yeah, probably. That's, yeah. We're going to talk about this later. But the guy's getting chased by all these robots. These are, I don't know all their names, but we know in the middle that is Dick Warlock, obviously. But we're going to find out who these guys a little bit later, who they are. But they're pretty creepy, I guess. Roger Ebert, when he reviewed this movie, I don't think he really watched it, because I remember reading his review and he mentioned that the Shape is unmasked this time. He thought these robots were Michael Myers. And, by the way they move, the way they're standing, it's easy to understand why someone who didn't want to take the care to watch the movie might think that, because it's Halloween 3. But anyway, we follow Mr. Grimbridge, and he is, running for his life, and gets attacked, and he kills a couple of the robots and gets away. They have a really cool scene where the guy's about to pop his head off, and he's able to somehow unlatch a car that's kind of up a hill just conveniently, and it crashes the robot, and we learn that, hey, these guys that are all standing here, they're not human. So we, Mr. Grimbridge, he gets to the gas station. Remember the black gentleman runs the gas station at 10 o'clock at night. We'll see him again later, but he, loads him up in the truck. It's pouring down rain, and he takes him to the hospital, and then we move on, and we're introduced. We see the commercial and all that. I think the kids were watching that. Here's another peek at the robot, Mr. Grimbridge here. This guy looks kind of like Poindexter here. That fucking part. I don't know how someone that looks like a natural part in his hair. That's terrible. Terrible hairstyle. But Fast forward, we're gonna meet Dan Chalice for the first time. He shows up drunk. Obviously, he's gone through a divorce. Here's Nancy Keys as his wife, Linda. She doesn't think very highly of Dan Chalice. He comes in, he has a couple paper bags, and for the kids, I don't know if anybody's gone through a divorce. I've been divorced. Just got divorced a long time ago. Didn't have any kids, but you can imagine it's rough. But we learned that Dr. Chalice is, he has a lot of problems. Lots to have a nightlife, live it up. Shows up drunk. He's obviously been in a bar. Look at his clothes. Look at his members only jacket. Big problem, this guy. And Linda, she fucking hates him, hates his guts. But he shows up. He's got a couple of gifts for the kids. They open it up, and it's a bunch of just shitty masks. And we learn for the first time that the in thing for all the kids are these new silver shamrock masks. And they're like, put their mask on and they go pop in front of the TV. And that jingle that we hear it for the first time. What do you guys think of the jingle? Does it get stuck in your head? I played it at the top. Does it get stuck in your head? Let's go back to the chat. Don't see too many more coming in. Yeah. They suck. The masks. Yeah, the masks suck. The kids, be sure to point that out. These masks suck. And they did suck. I mean, I don't know. You probably got them from some homeless guy or something. Nick Push says, horrible character, horrible actress. Nancy Keys, well, she's the bitter ex-wife. So, I'm going to cut her a little bit of slack here. Because as we're going to learn, Dan Chalice has a lot of problems. But so Dan Chalice, he gets a page. We find out that he's a doctor. I guess he's some ER trauma guy. Yeah. Allie's right. Divorce does suck. Byron Weaver, welcome to the chat. So his beeper goes off. He's been called to the hospital. There's a patient came in who we find out is Mr. Grimbridge. And, Chalice pops up at the hospital to save the day. He finds the mask. The old man's clutching the mask. He won't let it go. And mumbles some words. And, Chalice gets him sedated, gives him a little Thorazine. The doctors in Halloween love their Thorazine. Apparently that's good stuff. But, the robots are not deterred by their compadre getting crushed by the car. They are on a mission, and they show up at this hospital. And, they're after Mr. Grimbridge. They fucking goes in there, and I can't remember how he kills him. Here, I can look it up real quick. Let me look. Talk amongst yourselves. Let's find out what goes on here. Yeah, he sneaks into the hospital and like, what does he do here? He like holds his mouth and like fucking pinches his eyes out. I should have I didn't get any images of that. I wish I had it, but he just fucking puts his fingers down in his eyeballs, pops them out, just fucking breaks his face, and he's dead. And melee ensues, and they find out that this guy's in the hospital. They find him dead. The mask is on the floor there. And then, Chalice comes running down the hall, obviously, and Nurse Agnes is yelling, screaming that there's a fucking screaming her fucking hair off. And Chalice goes out there, and then here, I'm going to put this up. This robot fucking pours gasoline all over himself like he's Nick Push at the beach, like Nick Push with the Angry Orchard, just right into his face, hits the lighter, car explodes, and we're off. We're off. Dan Chalice, he's had a bad day. Real bad day. So we follow Chalice, and he goes to the bar. This is his real place of solitude here. You guys remember he's watching TV. And we find out that Halloween, the movie, exists in Halloween 3, the movie. It was a nice little way, I guess, to tie it together. But we find out that Halloween is a movie, and I think the commercial plays, and Chalice is just knocking him back. And we are introduced to Miss Ellie Grimbridge here. She's obviously very young, but we find out. Hold on, let's go to the chat. We'll get Vestication Cone. Welcome to the chat. I don't think I've seen you on the stream. Thank you for tuning in. Bar is his native habitat. That is correct. Jake Blaster said this movie's moving up his ranking. Don't knock your beach routine. Sorry about that. So Miss Grimbridge here shows up, and we find out that the man that just died in the hospital got his eyes popped out. That is her father, and he owns a Halloween store, Trick or Treater. You know, you guys see the trick or treat place. So what's it called? Spirit Halloween. Well, these are a lot. Back then, we had a lot of mom and pop. We didn't have this big corporation like Spirit Halloween. They had all these mom and pop Halloween places, and they'd pop open right at the Halloween season. And you could go in there and get whatever you need. And some of them, they sold like magic novelties, like toys and novelties, things like that. So her dad owns one of those stores, and we remember he had the mask, so he was being chased. But Chalice kind of tells her a little bit about what happened, and she's, would you help me figure out what happened? But we all know Chalice here. He sniffed some tail, so he was all in. I mean, he didn't even have to hear her story. He was all in, and we'll see how it goes. So, they go. I think that I can't remember if this is his shop or not, but they go and they're kind of looking through all of his orders and shit and trying to kind of track where he'd been over the last week. And they found out that right here, they're looking in the book. They found out that he'd been to Santa Mira, a town. So, Chalice, he's supposed to take his kids trick or treating, but he's got to see this through because he needs to hit that ass. That's all he's thinking about here. They're probably not really even listening to what she's talking about with her father here. He just wants that ass. So Chalice, they decide they're going to go on a road trip. And he calls his wife, Linda. She's screaming her fucking head off at him because, it's like, I promise you I'll be there to trick or treat with the kids. But, like he's got a 6-pack of Miller High Life in the back. So, man, he's ready for this road trip. Got to get ready. So they take off into the Northern California scenery and make their way to this nice little quaint town called Santa Mira, home of silver shamrock novelties. We drive through there. Everybody's kind of looking out the window. This town kind of reminds me a little bit of Golden, Colorado. Does anybody know? You know what is in Golden, Colorado? It's a little town just in the foothills, right before you go into the mountains, just west of Denver. It's owned by the Coors Brewery. So a lot of similarities between that and Santa Mira. You drive in there, we see the Silver Shamrock Bank. If you go to Golden, Colorado, you have the Coors Bank. So this factory is ingrained in this town. And all these people are just, staring them down like this fucking town is a little bit creepy. But, they're driving into town. They notice all these creepy fuckers staring at them. So they decide, hey, why don't we pose as a couple just kind of on a retreat? And we'll get a hotel here at the Rose of Shannon Hotel right next to Rafferty's Deluxe. And we made Mr. Rafferty here. He's a nice little Irish accent. I can't tell if it's a good one or a bad one. You guys tell me, what do you think? But, he's all trying to sell him on his hotel that it's cozy. It's cozy. I can't do Irish. And I am Irish. It's cozy, quiet, and the price is right. And then we meet, hold on, let's go to the chat here. Let's see where I was here. And that one set it off. Byron Weaver said, I wouldn't mind a season of The Witch, an anthology series that would pick up after the events of Halloween 3. It might work. You guys remember Friday the 13th, the series? It was kind of an anthology thing. It was really popular in syndication, even though it didn't have much to do. It didn't have anything to do with the Friday the 13th movie franchise. But yeah, I guess that might be interesting. It might be a good thing for streaming. But I think you're running into the same problem where people see Halloween and they're going to be expecting Michael Myers. So it might be a tough sell. Jake, Ellie is hiding some cannons under that wardrobe. Yeah. Yeah, 10 episode anthology series about Silver Shamrock would be cool to see. And honestly, I think with today's technology, it would be really good and you can do so much. Yeah, maybe. They throw some money at it. Mom and Pop aren't even a mom and pop. He acted concerned too. I mean, he's probably scared for his life. Let's see here. Coors Brewery, yeah. Coors Brewery, it's all over that town of Golden, Colorado. I don't know if you guys have ever been there. You got to go tour the brewery. Byron Weaver, this is just me, but Halloween 3 Season of the Witch came out today. It would do a lot better compared. I think you're right. I can agree with that. It probably would. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch developed a cult following over the years, but fans probably wouldn't like it because Michael Myers isn't in it. Yeah, I think that would be tough. I feel like goldfish. I feel like a goldfish. Yeah. One of his many ridiculous sayings. Because everybody's watching him. Jake said he used that picture. And then Allie loves the look of the town. Yeah. So they check into the hotel. And Chalice, I forgot to mention Chalice, while Ellie is distracting Mr. Rafferty there, runs into the front desk there, kind of takes a look at the ledger and confirms, in fact, that Mr. Grimbridge did check in a week prior. But we meet Buddy Kupfer. I don't even know how you say his name. He's a big fat ogre looking guy. And his wife, what's her name here? I didn't get her. Betty, I guess. And then they have their son, Buddy Jr. He takes off on his bike. These three play a little bit bigger role a little bit later, which we'll get into. And we also meet Marge here. She's pissed off about her mask not showing up. So we find out that Buddy, and Marge here, they too own a Halloween shop. And they, the Silver Shamrock mask, they're big sellers. And they didn't, their order got fucked up. So they're here, God damn it, to get some answers. And we know Marge is. And so, let's see here. If there are people who like ends, it would definitely do better. Yeah. What an outfit. Are we talking about Marge or Buddy? Yeah, those are some bright colors. And yeah, she packed it ahead of time too. So yeah, remember Mr. Speaking of that, Mr. Rafferty pulled the picnic basket out of Chalice's trunk and he's like, "Oh, light packers." And Ellie's like, "We have a lot of practice." So, they get into the room and then we find out why Chalice is really here. He said, "Let's take our time. I could use a drink." So, yeah, take our time. He thinks he needs a little bit of time, but he's confident that he can seal the deal. But little does he know, Miss Grimbridge, she's a fast woman. She's a loose woman. And, she's like, "You can stay in here." And he's like, "Yeah, you want me to get another room?" He's bullshitting, obviously. Of course he wants to stay there. And she's like, "Mr. Chalice, where do you want to stay?" And he's like, "That's a dumb question, Miss Grimbridge. We all knew it 10 minutes ago." So, Chalice, he disappears into the night. Kind of, he needs to go find his drink, leaves Miss Grimbridge all alone in the hotel here, and he goes out into Santa Mira at night, and he, encounters, a couple people, a drunk guy, Chalice pops up, got his bottle of booze and gives the guy a drink of his booze and kind of learns a little bit about Santa Mira. Um, and this guy, the man, he's fucking hates this town, obviously. He's like talking about getting Molotov cocktails and going down to that factory and handling business. And, this guy, and we find out that these bad guys that run this town, they have cameras everywhere. They have like thermal cameras and shit, and they're watching every square inch of this town. And they know that this guy's talking shit on, and you know, they take care of business and fucking brutally rip his head out. I didn't, again, I didn't get still photos of that. I should have. What was I thinking? So, Chalice come back from boozing it up. He's kind of a little bit freaked out. Miss Grimbridge, she's open for business. She has the lingerie that she brought that she put in the picnic basket, apparently. Or maybe she went somewhere in town and bought it. I don't know. But she had it, and she's ready for business. So it's go time for Dan Chalice. He comes a fucking drunk down on his luck with an angry ex-wife, and he's lucked into basically the lottery for a guy like him. So, they're doing the dirty, and we fast forward to Marge, and she's, reading her book, her terrible book, whatever it was, and she's, playing around with, finds the little silver shamrock coin, and she's like, "Where the fuck did this coin come from?" And then this happens. It like shoots a space laser right into her mouth. And wow, we've got some science fiction here all of a sudden. It was like Luke when he ignited the lightsaber for the first time. May the 4th is tomorrow, by the way. Star Wars Day. And Marge is fucked up. Again, Bud drops the ball. Doesn't have the still photo of her with her face all mangled. But, Chalice, in the middle of banging Miss Grimbridge, they hear this going on and they're like, "What the fuck was that?" And then, no, he's right back on point, right back into it. So let's go back to the chat and catch my breath here. Yeah, what an outfit. Yeah, she packed it ahead of time. And yeah, but she had put it in the picnic basket. That's what I would do if I was asked to follow up a Halloween 3. Atkins' real wife at the time. Who is his real wife? It's not Marge, is it? Marge was Atkins' wife at the time. She just died. So, movie collector, you're telling me that Tom Atkins' wife is Marge, and he's in the other room banging the young girl. Crazy. They must have been divorced after this. I'm just going to say. Allie, you're loving the play-by-play. Yeah, I just wanted to be thorough and go through it. I probably need to move it along quicker. I'm guessing Jake's talking about the sex scene. He can't be talking about the space cock here going into her mouth. And welcome to the Chat Halloween Movie Collector. I thank you for tuning into my stream. I've seen you on All the Good Names Are Taken. I think you've been in Nick's a couple of times. Thanks for tuning in. So we're back at it. So the Connell Cochran, who we're gonna meet here in a minute, they send like the paddy wagon, I guess, under the guise that they're taking Marge to the hospital, and they don't want to freak out Dan Chalice, Miss Grimbridge, and they think that she's gone to the hospital, should be taken care of. So they go back to it, go to sleep, go to more banging, whatever, and then the next day, I think I might have this out of order, but yeah, here's Connell Cochran, another good shot of Dick Warlock. And then the next morning, Chalice calls this woman here, Teddy, and she's apparently runs the morgue. She's the forensic pathologist. And she's complaining to him that they mixed up the car parts with the burned body in the car. What do you mean misfire? Misfire. You talking about me? I don't misfire. Oh, he's talking about Marge, the misfire with the lightsaber. Gotcha. So she's like, something's going on here, Dan, and I'm gonna go yell at the guy for mixing up the parts. And then we move on. And at this point, they decide they're gonna go check out this factory. And they meet up everywhere. They get kind of a tour from Connell Cochran. Buddy's there. Buddy's wife, Betty, is there. Buddy Jr. there. They're getting the tour so they can go there and find out what the fuck's going on with their order. And this is another shot of them kind of in the factory. Connell Cochran meets them, gives them kind of the tour, says, we're gonna, at no expense to you, fix your order. We go and we find out a little bit about final processing. We remember the door of final processing. And Buddy wants to know what fuck goes on in final processing. But Chalice is like, we have chemicals in there. You can't go in there. So already suspicious. So I can't remember the sequence of events here. Something happens. I think Ellie goes missing. I think they find her dad's car on the premises. And she goes up, and I think she goes missing. And then Chalice, he goes back out. He's out running around. They hunt him down, and they catch him. And they bring Chalice back to the... Hold on here. The secretary at the factory is the voice of Gozar in Ghostbusters. I did not know that. My kid saw the guys in the John Wick movies look like the Halloween 3 guys, and I laughed so hard. He said it. Yeah. So, Chalice is brought back to... I think he was putzing around or something, found the robots. So, inexplicably, Connell Cochran here decides he's just going to tell this bumbling drunk who just won the pussy lottery all of his master plans. I don't get it. So, he's kind of taking him through here, explaining what they do. And then they put him in front of the TV and it's like, here's what we do here. And we see that the Cuppers, whatever, they're in a room. They've been locked in a room to wait for their order, I guess. And the kid's got his mask on that Connell Cochran gave him a little bit earlier, a fresh, brand new mask. Kind of a token of his gratitude. But then that commercial plays, that creepy ass commercial plays. And we find out just what Connell Cochran is doing with these masks. He has a master plan in this commercial. When it plays, well, it's going to cause pandemonium. This mask starts strangling the shit out of this kid. The kid was annoying anyway. He deserved it. I can understand why Buddy Jr. was using it as a guinea pig. And all of a sudden, all these snakes pop into the room. The Comforts bite it. And Dan Chalice, man, he's hardcore with the acting here. The emotion. Tom Atkins, man. Should have got an Academy Award for this crap. Let's go back to the chat. And we'll move on. A little of this, a little of that. Yeah, that's what he said. Connell Cochran. A little of this, a little of that in final processing. Yeah, we already saw that. I actually really like this movie. It has a lot of charm. Yes, it's growing on me as well. It does have a lot of charm. It's, They did a good job. I won't lie. What? What did I do? Jeez, bud. Buddy deserves it. Yeah. So, Colin Cochran is kind of, he's telling this drunken bum his master plan. And I love this scene here where we find out all across the country, Colonel Cochran is targeting all the trick or treaters. We find out he's from, Sowing. How do you say it? Sowing. Sam Hain. We read it on the board in Halloween too. But he's talking about the legend of Sowin. Sowin. About how, he wants to play the biggest trick in the world on all the kids. Um, the joke of the children. Halloween is not supposed to be about this. And he's going to play the biggest fucking joke of all time. And I love this shot right here. They go through all like Seattle, Washington, Scottsdale, Arizona, a couple of other places. But this is to me, this is an iconic shot. Dean Cundy is the man. He is the man. And the guy can light a movie. Great scene. And it kind of brings the plot into focus that, hey, this is a nationwide plot. This isn't contained to this one little area of California. This is nationwide. And so they decide, rather than kill this fucker, we're going to tie him up and let him watch all this shit go down. Because Colonel Cochran, he's a special kind of evil. The Halloween montage from across the country is great. It really feels like Halloween. I agree. Good Halloween atmosphere, as Jake Blaster would like to put it. I can't remember if it was, that was a trivia question way back when. But yeah, so he's going to make poor Dan Chalice watch this stuff. So he goes off and they're getting ready. The commercial's going to play on 3 nationwide broadcast networks across the country. And Chalice has a front row seat. So Connell ties him up to the chair, does him a favor, puts the mask on, puts Halloween on the TV. We would all be happy in that spot. I think all of us would be happy. Yeah, that's right. He watches the Laurie Chaselin from 78. A nice little way to weave the original Halloween into it. It's, the least they could do. We all know John Carpenter hates Halloween, even though it made him an overnight sensation. So Chalice somehow manages to get away. He gets free. He crawls through the ducts, gets out. And this guy probably smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day. He finds Miss Grimbridge, and she's, she doesn't say a word. Oddly silent. She spoke so much earlier. She's oddly silent. So they're running through the factory here. And Dan Chalice, the guy that smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day, drinks a pint of whiskey, probably a case of beer a day, briskly, quietly, swiftly moves like a thief in the night and foils the plan. And of course, Colonel Cochran sees him, and I have some thoughts to this. Like, he notices Chalice running through here, and he's kind of amused by it. Did you guys notice that? He's kind of amused by it, and Chalice finds boxes of the silver shamrock coins that are on all the masks. This is, the commercial is going to send the signal out and explode all these kids' head all over the country that were lucky enough to get a silver shamrock mask. But Chalice foils the plan. And, Colonel Cochran, he's impressed. I mean, he's giving him the golf clap. He is impressed. And then, the Chalice, he also went to hitting the button. The commercial plays in there, drops all the coins around, takes out all the robots. And I forgot to mention Stonehenge. They had pieces of Stonehenge. You remember earlier, there was a little news report that said a big giant rock had gone missing from Stonehenge. Well, they'd taken this rock and busted it up into pieces and put them into the coins. You see the boxes back here in the background. That's all all the shit. This is where they're gonna the evil magic that they were gonna do. But Dan Chalice ruins it all, and we know Connell Cochran gets turned to stone. And Chalice thinks he's gotten away, but he's got one last thing to do. The masks are all out there. The commercials are still slated to run as scheduled. So him and Ellie, they have to get to a phone somewhere so they can make the call. And I forgot about Teddy earlier. She got smoked. She got too close to the truth, and they sent a guy to drill her head out. I forgot about Teddy. Sorry about that, guys. Let's go to the chat before I get into the last part of this. He thought she was quiet because she was super satisfied from earlier. Gave her a good one, right? Halloween 3 looks like War Games with Matthew Broderick. Yeah, I watched that recently. You can find that in 4K Blu-ray if you're into that thing, like me. What's up, Scott? Welcome to the chat. Chilling with a beer. All right, so Chalice, they're riding in the car trying to get to the phone. And all of a sudden, Ellie attacks him. So I'm going to pose a question to the chat. I have my thoughts. When do you really think that Ellie was a robot? Do you think she went into the bar way earlier in the movie? Do you think she was a robot when she went into that bar and Dan Chalice fucked a robot? I really think he fucked a robot. I'm just going to go on record for that. What do you guys think? Let me know. Scott is the reigning Rewind Trivia champ. Yeah. He won Nightmare on Elm Street this past Sunday. We did our best to screw that up. No. She doesn't think he was a robot, or Ellie was a robot earlier. So, yeah, she starts attacking Chalice. He fucks her up real good, knocks her head right off her shoulders. And we find out she is, in fact, a robot. She's still moving around. You see her arms moving around. One of her arms is slinking around, and well, I think I got these out of order, but the arm attack still is just, can't stop these arms. It was kind of funny. Like I said, Tom Atkins did he deserves an Academy Award for Halloween 3. Like, he took this hand and just, it's like Shawn Michaels wrestling a mop. That's the best comparison I can give. But Chalice, he runs to the gas station. We come right back to the gas station where it all started. The kids are trick-or-treating here. And we see the commercial starting up, so shit's about to hit the fan. Chalice is on the phone to all the networks trying to get this shit stopped, but it gets one or two of them stopped, but it's trying to get that third one. You got to take it down. Take it down now. Take it down now. But we never know. What do you guys think? Did he get the job done? Or did all the kids in the country that had a mask on bite it? And that's Halloween 3. We cut to the credits. That's it. I went through it quick. All in all, it was a pretty good movie. So, I'll get back to the chat. Oh, well, here, we'll do that now. They kidnapped her and replaced her with a robot. It's an ongoing debate, though. I like to believe scumbag Dan Chalice banged a robot. I know probably Linda does, too. That part was funny. So does anybody have any Halloween 3 memorabilia? I do. I'm going to share some of my memorabilia with you. First and foremost, for Halloween 2 last week, the 4K Blu-ray set, these puppies here. I also got Halloween 1 and 3. So just like the last one, Halloween 3, I don't know if you can get these anymore, but probably get them on eBay. Comes with a little vinyl, side A, side B, Chariots of the Pumpkins, Season of the Witch, composed by John Carpenter. They were re-recorded by John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and Daniel Davies. You remember? They did the Halloween trilogy. Yeah, the shirt is Allie likes my shirt. Texas Chainsaw Massacre shirt. And then, of course, the Halloween 3 4K Blu-ray. I gotta say, they did a good job with this one. Really restored it, and it was really well done. That's what kind of one of the reasons I came around on the movie. It's because you can watch it in such good quality on this, and you can find you don't need all this. You can still get that 4K Blu-ray. A couple other things I have. So let me get this. What was it? The Fright Rags. They released these mini masks. I don't know if I should take them out of here. These puppies were expensive. They cost like $30 a piece. But as you can see, that little mask. You can put it on your dog or whatever. I need to probably try that and get some photos of that. But that's the skeleton, and they have the pumpkin, and of course the witch. You can get all three. Probably can't find them. You might find these on eBay. Maybe they'll come out with them again. But I saw them and I had to have them. I was going to hang them on the wall, and I just too lazy to get to that. I haven't gotten to that. So that's a couple more things I have. Put this back in here. I also have the Halloween 3. No, that's Halloween 2, dumbass. I also have the Halloween 3 novelization. I grabbed the wrong one. I haven't read it yet, but apparently it follows the original script that was changed a little bit, a lot more in depth. I plan to definitely read that. Maybe during the next pandemic, I'll get to that. And then the last thing I did buy that book, the new Halloween 3 book that Tommy Lee Wallace wrote with Harrison Smith. You know, he directs a lot of horror films. He's worked with Danielle Harris, a lot of big names. A cool guy. He'll interact with you on Twitter. The thing about, I haven't read the book, and I've seen a lot of bad reviews on it, but I really chalk that up to the price of the book. The book it costs like $70 for this book, and it's just a paperback. I really think it has more to do with the price. But the cool thing about it is they found a lot of behind the scenes photos that have never seen the light of day. Behind the scenes, a lot of art, a lot of really cool photos in this thing, a lot of storyboards, and it weaves in and out with Tommy Lee Wallace's recollection of the production. I read it has a foreword by Tom Atkins, and then there's a little essay that Harrison Smith wrote that's before that. But I mean, I have a hard time thinking that it's the quality of the book. I think it was more the price. But I will read it and I will let you know. But that is some of the Halloween 3 things that I have. Halloween movie collector. He has a ton of Halloween 3 memorabilia. I'm going to guess you have some of the things that I have. Hopefully you'll let us know, and I'll let everybody know. So Annie was in Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, and Halloween Kills. Not bad for 4 movies. Correct. Did you guys know that there is a scene where Michael is peering into the Tower Farm party in Halloween 5, and there is a Halloween 3 witch mask on the window? I did not know that. Yeah, I did. I always change my camera angle, Allie. I have OCD, so it can never stay in the same place. Yeah. Halloween movie collector said the book is okay, but on the pricey side. I really think that's what is driving the negative reviews. So that's Halloween 3. Does anybody have anything else they want to get into it? Like, it was awesome to go through that. I feel like that's probably going to be the way to go. I'm going to talk about a couple of things I have planned. So, if you're watching, please hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss next week. I'm going to tell you about what I'm going to talk to you next week. I'm sure everybody can guess. I'll just tell you now. We're going to do a Halloween 4 live stream next week. Kelly Meeker, gotta love her. But I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to keep going with the Halloween for a while. I might struggle when we get to 5, but I'll try to do it for you. So this Sunday, Rewind Trivia, Button Blaster right here on the Shape of Horror podcast. We're going to do Halloween Kills trivia. I think we're going to be able to squeeze 25 questions in for this one. So Sunday night, I think 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going to go live and do Halloween Kills trivia. So test your knowledge. A lot easier to come up with questions for that than Nightmare on Elm Street. Let's see, we got a few more chats here. I think Scott's excited about Halloween 4. John DeRosier, welcome to the chat. He says he met Tom Atkins at a convention 2 years ago. He's thrilled that the movie got popular these years later. Yeah. I'm thrilled for him too. That's, it's cool that he can hang on to that. I know Darcy the Mail Girl really wants Joe Bob Briggs to do Halloween 3 on the last drive-in. That would be cool. I don't know if he'll give in though. Can't wait till Halloween 5 because of Queen Tina. Yeah, we'll have to talk about Tina. 9 p.m. Eastern on Sunday night. Let's see here. Now Halloween Kills. Definitely rewatch and study Queen Lindsay Wallace. Yeah, definitely do a rewatch. We're keeping all the questions really contained to the movie. I don't think we have any behind the scenes stuff. I don't know. We'll see. There won't be many. It'll be mostly from the movie. But so if you guys didn't see Take It to the Grave last night, it's also on my channel. You can go back and watch it. Me and Nick Push, we did the top 10 worst moments and decisions in the David Gordon Green trilogy. It was a lot of fun doing that episode. And I listened back to some of it this morning, and I think it came out really well. Definitely go check it out if you haven't. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to thank you for tuning in. It was awesome. I'm glad we got it done. Guess we learned that Halloween 3 isn't as awful as we remember it. But I'll see you guys Sunday night for Rewind Trivia. Have a good night, everybody.